Good morning, all of you. Today we will
Good
start with
morning,
next
sir.
topic, that is PN diode and its applications. So till now we have discussed about PN junction diode, how it works. So we will review its working in this module, and after that we will be discussing about diode equivalent circuits, then diode being used in a circuit, and then some applications of diodes. So that includes half wave and full wave rectifiers, then mathematical analysis of rectifier, then how you can use a rectifier to make a power supply, and lastly we will be discussing some wave shaping circuits, clipper and clamper. So what is important in this particular module is whatever you are studying is actually a very practical thing. Now you will see how a diode can be used as a full wave rectifier, half wave rectifier, and what is inside your mobile charger, and so many other things are there. So it's a quite interesting thing. So when we discuss this, you get quite a good interest in this particular topic. So this is your symbol of PN diode, and this is your PN diode, this is your PN junction, and these are the PN diode operating conditions. So what are the PN diode operation conditions? When you are not applying any external bias. So that means this is your diode and you have not applied any potential here. That means you are not applying any battery to this. So in that case, your voltage across diode is zero, as they are not conducting, there is no diode current, and only a depletion region exists that is there inside the diode. So this is the particular case when we have not applied any external bias. Now these are the practical PN diode characteristics which I am discussing now. So here you can see there are two different characteristics. Hello. So we were discussing about your characteristics, forward bias characteristics. So this is your diode like this, and forward bias means we are applying a positive on positive and negative on negative. So this is a variable supply. That means it will start from zero and can go up to any value, up to 2300 volts or so only. In lab, we normally use this up to 0 to 30 volts. So what happens? This voltage is VD, and we are getting current here in this particular loop as ID. Now, when you start increasing this voltage V, initially there will be no voltage across this diode, because we know that minimum voltage required to turn on your diode is 0.7 volts. So what that is case for silicon. If it is a germanium, it is zero 0.4. So you can clearly see that your device start conducting after 0.4 volts, but the amount of current is very, very small. And after 0.3, this you are getting some value on across this diode, maybe 0.3 volts and so on. Later on, you keep on increasing this voltage. So when you increase the voltage beyond 0.7 volts, what happens? The voltage across this diode becomes constant. Why this voltage is constant? Because suppose this is your PN diode, this is your P, this is N, and this is your depletion region. So charges are being separated, so they are acting as a capacitance. So we are getting some voltage, fixed voltage across that. So this is the minimum voltage we are getting, or minimum maximum voltage across the diode which you are getting. On the other hand, under the influence of this voltage, the electric field increases. So electric field increase means more number of carriers will cross this junction. So more number of carriers means more current. So here, that's why you can see exponential increase in the current. So these are for your forward bias characteristics. Similarly, when you look at the reverse bias characteristics, you will get there is no current, and later on it will increase exponentially like that. But that is not of concern. Normally, we do not operate diode in reverse bias in the lab under very high voltage. So we look forward only for forward bias in case of your lab. So this is what we are going to do in the coming practicals, that is forward bias characteristics. So there are certain applications of PN diodes. You should know for what purposes your PN diodes can be used. They can be used as rectification. They can be used in clamping circuits. They can be used in clipping circuits. Diodes are used in voltage multipliers. So diodes are used as switch in digital logic circuits in computers. Diodes are used in demodulation circuits, and laser diodes are used in optical communications. LEDs are used in digital displays. These days at homes you will find LED, that is also a diode, and diodes can also be used in voltage regulators. So in this class or course, we will be discussing only these three and this application. The application, the application is Zener diode, which we are going to use in this particular course. So let's start discussing the application. So before we start the application, the first thing that need to be discussed is diode equivalent circuit. That means how you can replace diode with its equivalent circuit. So before we work with equivalent circuit, the thing we have to discuss or should be aware of is what is an equivalent circuit. So an equivalent circuit is a combination of elements primarily chosen to best represent the characteristics of a device in a particular operating region. So that means your diode is a device, and what we will do, we will replace diode with some combination of elements based on its operating region, so that this diode can be replaced with your equivalent circuit. Next is how to form an equivalent circuit for a PN diode. How to form a equivalent circuit with a diode. So here we are looking at this definition. The important point is particular operating region. So your diode is having three different regions: cutoff, near threshold, and above threshold. So these are the regions. So two approaches are there. We are using this particular approach. This approach is piecewise linear diode characteristics. That means your diode is having three different regions of operation. So we will model each and every region of operation differently. So we are not having a generic thing that if you are designing a particular model and it is applicable to all. No, we are actually looking for a piecewise linear diode characteristics. That means we are dividing the entire characteristics into small regions. So here you can see this is your region of operation. Here you can see that this is cutoff, this is below threshold, and this is above threshold. So these are the characteristics, and we divided these regions into cutoff, near threshold, and above threshold. So on the basis of that, your equivalent circuit of PN diode looks like this. So this is your PN diode. This black ring is your cathode and this is anode. So here you can see when you actually operate your PN diode, what is your approach? We apply some positive value and we apply some negative value across this. So initially your diode does not conduct, and suppose this is silicon diode up to 0.7 volts, your diode does not conduct. So that means the minimum supply for this diode to be conduct should be zero point 0.8, should be 0.8 volt, and 0.8 volt with respect to this, 0.8 volt respect to with respect to this. So that means this 0.7 volt is replaced by fictitious voltage source. That means your diode is actually having some fictitious voltage source. So to get this particular diode conducting, we have to apply a voltage source which is greater than this. Second is your average resistance, and you can see you are getting in VI characteristics of diode. This is your voltage, this is current. So here you can find out your average resistance of your device for a particular region. So here you can find out this is your delta V, and this is your delta I. So this is giving you the average resistance. And last but not the least is the symbol, that is ideal diode. That means it conducts, it acts as open circuit in cutoff and closed circuit when it is in conducting state. When it is in conducting state. Okay. So there are certain things which I want to address right now. These are, what do you mean by forward biasing? Forward biasing means the, suppose this is a diode, it is having two terminal, positive and negative. So positive terminal we denote with terminal A, negative terminal we denote with terminal B. So if voltage at A is more positive at compared to positive B, then we can say that diode is forward biased. Suppose this is -1 volt, this is -2 volts. Again, this diode is forward bias. Forward bias does not mean that you are always applying a positive voltage at A and negative at B. No, it means that voltage at A, potential at A should be greater than potential at B. If it is negative term, then it should be point B should be more negative as compared to point A. And if it is positive, then if it is 2, it should be 1. Or if it is a something like that, so that this value should be greater than this if it is a positive, so that your device is conducting, in case of forward bias. In case of reverse bias, the potential at A should be, potential at A should be less than potential at B in case of reverse bias. So this is the important thing. So in this particular slide, what we have discussed, that how a diode can be replaced with a equivalent circuit. So a diode can be replaced with a fictitious battery, because it is for conducting you need to apply this minimum potential at the device so that it start conducting. Second thing you have to do is you have to actually include a resistance, because your diode is also offering some resistance. And third thing is your symbol related to your diode. So if we include these three symbols, then this is your equivalent circuit for your PN diode. Now these are the characteristics, IV characteristics, or we can say current voltage characteristics. So here you can see your IV characteristics, and if your diode is reverse biased, I will be using the different pen. If your diode is reverse biased, that means it is off, and if it is forward biased, this is on. So these are ideal characteristics of a diode. So when it is forward bias, your current will increase instantaneously, and if it is reverse bias, it does not give you any current. If you keep on increasing voltage, does not means any increase in the thing, but that is the ideal case. In practical cases, in reverse bias, we don't have any current for most of the voltage operating conditions. But in case of forward bias, there is certain threshold that need to be overcome. So when you start increasing the potential, your device current start increasing, but after certain time. So what is the minimum voltage? That is your fictitious battery, that is your diode voltage 0.7, and after that it is offering some resistance. So this resistance is RD. So these are the two important components that need to be included in the diode model. So piecewise linear diode model is being explained here in a very beautiful manner. Before that, I would like to explain these characteristics. So these are the characteristics. Here you can see these are the reverse bias thing, and this is for forward bias. So it start increasing only after 0.7 volts. And here we are taking a ordinate from y-axis, ordinate from x-axis, and this gives you the resistance, and this is the average resistance of the diode, and your current is in milliamperes, diode current is in milliamperes, diode voltage is VD. So don't get confused with your diode voltage with power supply. Once again, I am saying this, that this is your diode and this is your power supply. So this voltage is V, but the voltage across diode is VD. Voltage across diode is VD. So don't mix these two things. This is your power supply and this is your voltage across diode. So you can see this is your ideal diode, this is your power supply, and this is your resistance. This is your resistance. So what is the resistance? The resistance is this, and this is your power supply, and this is your diode. So this is how you can model a particular diode with the help of a piecewise linear approach. What does piecewise linear approach means? You study the diode and find out what are the various ways your device is actually responding. So your diode is actually responding like a power supply in the beginning, the resistance in the later half. So you include a power supply, you include a resistance, and later on it becomes a ideal diode. So we include all these things, and together we make it a piecewise linear diode. So this is a diode model, and this is called constant drop model. Normally your value of resistance is very small. The value of resistance is very small, almost 10 ohms or maybe something like that. So that is very small value. So taking into consideration that value is very small, we take it almost equal to 0. So that means we omit that resistance. So your model is now constant drop model. That means it is the resistance is 0. If this is the case, your resistance becomes infinite. When this is the case, your resistance is 0. Resistance is 0. So here you can see your diode is giving you a potential of 0.7, and then current starts increasing. So this model, we have a power supply and a diode. So we have replaced the piecewise linear model with constant drop model. So in most of the applications in which we are now working on in the near future, what you will find out, suppose you apply 8 volts on the diode, then what you are going to get, if it is a silicon, then at this end you are going to get 7.3 volts. Why 7.3 volts? Because 0.7 volts has been used by the diode to overcome the threshold thing. So now this should be a thumb rule, unless it is given that it is an ideal diode. But if it is a given that it is a diode with of silicon, then you use 0.7 volts drop. If it is of germanium, then this becomes 0.4 voltage drop, and this becomes 7.6 volts. So this is quite simple as that. And in case of reverse bias, your diode does not conduct. So if you are applying -8 here, you are always getting 0. If you are applying +8 here, you are getting 7.3 volts. And for every voltage, you have to do like that. Now, in case you are applying voltages at both ends, voltages at both ends, then in that case, what is the thumb rule? It says that potential at P should be more than potential at N. So suppose you are applying 3.8 volts here, and you are having some 2 volts here. So it means your diode is forward bias. Your diode is forward bias. And if it is 2 here and 3.8 here, that means your diode is reverse bias. So don't get confused with that. If you're applying positive potential on P terminal, it is forward bias. No, it is to be relevant term. What is relevant term? That your potential at P should be more as compared to potential at N. So this is load line analysis. What is load line analysis? Let's discuss that. What do you mean by load? Your resistance is called load. So these are your characteristics of your diode. So we plot all the possible combinations of your diode voltage. Diode voltage means voltage across diode and current. Now what we will do, we will have some potential E, and we are having resistance in the loop. So on the basis of that, we are going to get some current. So we measure it on the current axis, that is y axis, and we mark the potential on this axis. What is the maximum power supply you are using, taking into consideration this. And then what we will do, we will mark a line like this, joining these 2 points. So the point at which it actually intersects your characteristics is called Q point, quiescent point. That means fixed potential is at this particular point. And also this particular line is called load line. Why it is called load line? You change the resistance. Suppose you increase the resistance, what happens? This will go like this. If you decrease the resistance, this will go like this. So changing the resistance is actually changing the slope of the line. So that means this is called a load line. Changing the load or resistance is actually changing the slope of this line. So that is why this is called load line. So once again, I repeat this entire thing. What is the main point of discussion in this? That you are having your VI characteristics for your diode like this. These are your VI characteristics. And what you do? You have a particular potential E over which these characteristics are being made. So you are having at this particular point E, and then your potential by resistance here, and then you join these 2. So the point at which it intersects this is called Q point or quiescent point. That means your system is at fixed at this particular point if conditions are fixed. Conditions means your temperature is fixed, potential is fixed, so your system will be at that particular operating region. But if you are changing the operating conditions, these things will change. So this is called load line analysis. Now I will discuss when your diode is actually being used in series. When your diode is actually being used in series. So here you can see that this is your silicon diode. This is the power supply being used to operate this particular diode. This is resistance, and this is your voltage across this resistance, and VD is voltage across this diode. Now, if it is germanium, it is 0.3, and in silicon, it is 0.7. So let's analyze this. Now, the voltage across diode is VD is 0.7. Now, if VD is equal to E, and if E is less than 0.7, then in that case your voltage across diode is this, and your voltage across resistance is this potential minus this potential. This is nothing new. This is your KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, which says that this is your potential E. So total potential across this is total drops across all the elements. So elements drop is your VD plus VR. So your VR is equal to E minus VD, like this. So your current inside a loop is always constant. The current inside the loop is always constant. Okay. So what is the current? Current, if we measure the current across the diode, inside the diode, that is ID. And if we look for the current across resistance, that is IR. So these two currents are same. So other way of measuring the current is your voltage across resistance divided by the value of the resistance. So this is how you can go for series diode configuration. So suppose you are applying 5 volts here, then what is the voltage here? 0.7 volt is being dropped across this diode. So what is the voltage across resistance? 5 minus 0.7, that is 4.3. So that is what I am talking to you when we are discussing constant voltage drop model. Okay. Now next is diode. When we operate diode in a reverse bias, so you see that positive is being, so this is not a reverse bias, this is wrong. This is the diode now. This is negative and this is positive. So in that case, this diode does not conduct. So in that case, your voltage across resistance is 0, diode current is 0, and whatever is the voltage that will be available across this diode. So when you are operating your diode in reverse bias, that means entire voltage of the battery will be applied across the diode. While in the case of your forward bias, if you are applying a battery, only diode voltage across diode will be 0.7 volts. While in case of reverse bias, your entire voltage will be across your diode. So that is the problem with your diode. That means when you are applying a very high voltage across diode, then two particular phenomena come into picture. One is avalanche breakdown, another is Zener breakdown. So we will discuss that in the coming future when we will discuss about them. Okay, right now, just make this point into your mind that when your diode is reverse biased, entire voltage is across the diode. Now coming towards parallel configurations. So here you can see this is your battery, this is your resistance, and these are two diodes in parallel. And we look forward that what is the voltage at this particular point across this. So when we know that when particular portions are in parallel, that means voltage is constant along them. So let's find out what is the voltage. Now here you can see the voltage of across diode is 0.7 volts. What is the voltage across diode? 0.7 volts. And your current is I1. So we normally see that current is being divided. So as both the devices are in parallel and they are same, so what do you expect? That this current is divided equally in these two branches. Okay, so this is 10 volts. Some voltage will be dropped across this, and then we are getting some voltage at this particular point. Okay, so what is the voltage drop across this resistance? We know that 0.7 volts is there. We know that 0.7 volt is there across this. So at this particular point, we will find out that VD is equal to 0.7 volts, because voltage across diode is 0.7, voltage across this is 0.7. So what is the voltage drop across resistance is 10 minus 0.3, that is 9.3 volts. And what is the current across the resistance? So current across the resistance is this minus potential at this particular point is 9.3 because of this 0.7, sorry, because of this diode, and divided by the resistance. So this gives you 28 milliamperes of current, and this is being divided equally across these two diodes. So 28 is 14 milliampere here and 14 milliampere in this particular direction. So this is a quite simple example to let you people know what happens to a diode in parallel configuration. So when you are operating diode in parallel configuration, then what happens? The voltage across the diodes is 0.7. So you are measuring this voltage. So the voltage is to be 0.7 volts. So that is important. So based on this knowledge, what we have gained in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss about your applications of diodes in the coming classes. So in the coming classes, the application which we are going to discuss is your power supply, and in power supply we will focus on this particular thing, rectifier. So what is a rectifier? It basically converts your AC signal into DC signal. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
AC signal into DC signal. So how the entire thing is being done? You are having 230 volt AC supply. So with the help of transformer, this is being stepped down to a lower voltage, maybe 6 volts and all, but still it is AC. So with the help of rectifier, it is being converted into rectified output. This is almost equal to DC but not DC. So later on, this is being filtered to get a filtered output, and then with the help of regulator, the ripples are being smoothened out to get a perfect DC. So in this particular course, we are going to discuss about rectifier and filter. So transformer, we know that step down transformer we are going to use, so we are not going to discuss much about transformer in this particular course, but the main focus will be on rectifier and your filter. So in the coming classes, we are going to discuss about rectifier. Okay, so thank you very much. So if you have any doubt, you can